The lunar dust, once a silent silver sea, now roiled in a chaotic ballet with the void. Stellaris gripped the plasma rifle, its cool metal a stark contrast to the searing terror that threatened to consume her. Before her, the moon, our celestial constant, was fractured, a colossal egg cracked open to reveal a nightmare. From its shattered core, the dragon had unfurled. It was a creature of obsidian scales and cosmic fire, its wings vast enough to eclipse nations, its roar a symphony of dying stars. It hadn't just woken up, it had been born from the moon's heart, and its first cry was a death sentence for Earth. Stellaris fired, a bolt of pure energy lancing through the vacuum to sizzle against the dragon's hide, as futile as a child's sparkler against a supernova. Below, Earth, a blue and white marble of breathtaking fragility, was already succumbing to the celestial beast's wrath. Continents glowed with the angry orange of annihilation. The dragon's tail, a comet of incandescent rage, lashed out, and entire coastlines vanished under clouds of superheated steam. There was no fighting this, only fleeing. Stellaris to the Odyssey, she choked out, her voice a ragged whisper against the backdrop of planetary destruction. It's over. Earth is gone. Initiate the Exodus Protocol. Aboard the Odyssey, a needle-thin vessel of polished chrome and impossible physics, Captain Eva Rostova watched the transmission from Stellaris's helmet cam, her knuckles white on the command chair. You heard her. Eva's voice was grim, a stark finality in the hushed bridge. Engage the chronodrive. Let's get these people to Kepler 186. Around her, the bridge crew, a stoic collection of humanity's best and brightest, moved with practiced efficiency. There was Eris Thorne, the architect of the cryogenic pods, his face a mask of detached sorrow as he monitored the vital signs of the 50,000 souls sleeping in the ship's massive cryobays. And then there was Kalen, the ship's enigmatic navigator, his eyes of an unnervingly pale blue fixed on the swirling vortex of the wormhole. The chronodrive was tearing open in the fabric of space-time. The journey was meant to be a one-way trip, a desperate gamble for the survival of the human race. The technology was theoretical, a fusion of cryogenic suspension and temporal dilation. They would sleep for what felt like a moment, while millennia passed in the universe outside. When they awoke, they would be in a new home, a new Eden. Stellaris was the last aboard, her spacesuit scarred, her face streaked with tears that froze into tiny crystals in the sterile air of the airlock. As she was sedated and placed in her own cryogenic pod, her last waking thought was of the dragon's eye, an orb of molten gold that seemed to stare directly at her, not with malice, but with an ancient, chilling intelligence. The awakening was a gentle hum, a slow thaw from the dreamless ice of cryosleep. Stellaris's eyelids fluttered open. The pod's lid hissed and retracted, revealing the concerned face of Dr. Thorne. "Welcome back, Stellaris," he said, his voice softer than she remembered. "How do you feel?" "Like I wrestled a celestial body and lost," she croaked, her throat raw. She sat up, the medbay's soft lighting a balm after the harsh glare of cosmic fire. Captain Rostova stood by the doorway, her arms crossed, her expression unreadable. "We have a situation," Eva stated, her tone flat. "According to the ship's chronometer, we should be approaching the Kepler system. We are not. We are in orbit around a blue-green planet with a single fractured moon." A cold dread, more profound than the chill of the cryopod, washed over Stellaris. She stumbled out of the medbay and onto the bridge. There, on the main view screen, hung a sight that should have been impossible. Earth. It was whole, vibrant, and teeming with light. But a jagged, crystalline ring, the glittering remnants of its shattered moon, encircled it like a celestial scar. "That's impossible," Stellaris whispered. Kalen, the navigator, turned from his console. "The ship's logs indicate a temporal discrepancy. We've been in cryosleep for 2 years, not the 2000 we anticipated. 2 years. 2 years to rebuild from an extinction-level event." It defied logic. Eva had already tried to hail them. The response was a chorus of confusion. No one on Earth knew who they were. There was no record of the Odyssey, no mention of an Exodus protocol, and certainly no memory of a space dragon cracking the moon like an egg. To the people below, they were an unidentified vessel, a potential threat. The mystery deepened with every scan. The planet was Earth, but subtly different. The continents were a slightly different shape. The atmospheric composition had changed, and there were energy signatures emanating from the surface that didn't correspond to any known human technology. Days turned into a week. The crew of the Odyssey remained in a state of suspended disbelief, ghosts in their own time, orbiting a home that refused to recognize them. Stellaris spent hours in the observation deck, staring at the fractured lunar ring. The memory of the dragon's eye seared into her mind. Dr. Thorne, ever the scientist, worked tirelessly, analyzing the data. It was he who made the breakthrough. "Captain," he announced, his voice trembling with a mixture of excitement and fear as he addressed the senior staff in the briefing room. "I've been studying the temporal field we generated, the chrono drive. It didn't just propel us through space, it created a localized temporal loop. Speak English, Aris," Eva commanded. "We didn't travel to the future," Thorne explained, his eyes wide. "We traveled to a different present, an alternate reality, one where the dragon never happened." The silence in the room was absolute, the implications of Thorne's words hanging heavy in the air. They were not just lost in space, they were lost in time, adrift in a reality that was not their own. But it was Kalen who delivered the final chilling piece of the puzzle. He had been running deep space scans, searching for any sign of the wormhole that had brought them here. He found something else instead. "Captain," he said, his voice barely a whisper as he brought a new image onto the main view screen. It was a celestial body, far out in the Kuiper Belt, a place of icy darkness. But this was no ordinary asteroid. It was organic, scaled, and colossal. And it was stirring. From its fractured, moon-like shell, a creature of obsidian and starlight was beginning to unfurl. The dragon, their dragon. And as they stared in horror at the nascent beast, a new, terrifying understanding dawned. The chronodrive hadn't just taken them to another reality. It had brought the seed of their destruction with them. The dragon hadn't just woken up inside their moon. It had followed them, a cosmic predator hunting them across the threads of reality. And this new Earth, this unsuspecting, unblemished Earth, was about to become its next meal. The crew of the Odyssey, the last survivors of a dead world, were not just refugees. They were harbingers of an apocalypse they had desperately tried to outrun. Their mystery was no longer who they were, but what they had unwillingly become.